Hello everyone, Jared from Aloha Plumbing. Another tip for you DIYers. Descaling a tankless water heater. We've got various models that we do this on. Just going to show you another model for all of the various types that are out there. Behind me is a Navien. Now this is the 180 model. This is an A model, so that means it has the built-in pump. We're going to go ahead and get set up. Now the things you're going to need, this has a panel across the front. You may or may not have ever seen one of these. This is very easy to access and remove. What we're looking at in here, we've got our service valves, our hot and our cold. Same principles. We're going to isolate the unit. We're going to open the service valve up so we can put the recirculation pump on it so that we can do the descale. It's up to you completely. I normally turn the power off to the unit. I normally turn the gas off to the unit, and then we'll get that hooked up. Now, some tools you're going to need. I would recommend having a pair of adjustable pliers. It does make turning some of these valves a little easier, sometimes hand strength. A screwdriver to remove the cover if that's needed. In this case, the recirculation pump is not connected to anything, the recirc line. So there's really no need to take the cover off in this case, because there's no chance of pumping that into there. We do have our bucket with our descale kit. We have our bucket with our descale kit. So we've got a pump, we've got two hoses. You'll need one on the inlet, one on the outlet, and of course, a descaling agent. Now, in my case, I always like to just use plain vinegar, but you can use whatever descaling agent you like that's proper for the application. So let's get started. So we've got our cold and our hot. There's the port for the water hose to hook onto. We're gonna need something to set this on. Don't worry about it. I can edit all that out.
Oh, I was just looking at that. It looks like it's gonna be just long enough. You think, or you want a bucket?
No, I think it needs something to sit on.
Okay.
So looking in here, we've got the cold inlet. As you can see, this valve is on, and the smaller valve where the hose hooks on is off. So we're gonna reverse that. We're gonna wanna turn this valve off. And then we're gonna want to open and I'm going to tighten this up, hence the pliers are a good idea to have. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I have the hoses connected here. Tighten that on. So we're going to turn this valve off. gonna open the valve up so that we can start our descale. So I have the pump sitting in the bucket and the hose coming back from the unit. We're just gonna pour our vinegar into the bucket. That water is flowing back from the heat exchanger into the bucket. Do not be concerned about that. That is fine. Just going to plug in our pump, and then we'll check our flow coming out of our return line. It can take it a minute to get primed up. There we go. So we're going to let that run for about 30 minutes. So I wanted to give you an idea of what these valves look like up close, because I know it's hard to see when I'm recording from a distance, but this is what those two valves would look like. You would be looking at those on the bottom of the heater. So normal operation would be this valve would be open, this valve would be closed, because that's going to allow the water to flow into this valve and flow into the water heater. Then on your hot side, it would allow the water to flow out that had been heated. There would be your TMP valve here, and it would flow through because this valve is open. When we're doing the descale, we want to interrupt that. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the cold. We're going to turn off the hot, and that's what we're doing in the video. Then we're going to open. Now you want to open this kind of carefully. There might be some pressure behind this, and this is usually tightened on, but it may not be. When you open this, maybe have a rag over it, prepare. You're going to open this up. You're going to unscrew this cap, and then this is where you're going to hook up your hose coming off the pump. So you would hook up your hose to this connection, and it's just a water hose connection, right? And then this hose would then go and connect to the pump. So now you've got this valve open, and it's not allowing the flow to go this direction, it's forcing it into the heater. So you open this one, and on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. You've got the hot turned off. You're going to open this port and carefully unscrew this, and you're going to hook the other hose onto this end, and you're going to run this end back into the bucket. So you're creating a loop. So the hoses are connected, and the pump is pumping the descaling agent into here, and it can't go this direction because we have this valve off. And it's going to flow into the heater. It's going to go through the heat exchanger. It's going to come back, and it's going to go here. Now this is going to be plugged. The valve is off here, so it can't go this way. It forces it back into the bucket, and then it just circulates around. That's why you give it the half hour. But I wanted you to see this up close because it's kind of hard to see in the video, it being in the confined spaces. So once your 30 minutes are up, you can see we're still flowing well out of the outlet. We're going to unplug our pump. We're going to reverse our our valves here. Now what I recommend is we'll close off the cold, and then we can take the hot, or the outlet, and we can flush out some of this vinegar. Of course I say that. Now, this is where the pliers come in handy. Sometimes these valves will make a laughing matter out of you. So I'm just gonna rinse out that vinegar till it goes. Just for a minute, that should be good. So we're gonna turn the hot back off on that. Reverse our valves back to where they were. So the 2 large valves are back on, the 2 small valves are off. Disconnect our hoses, turn our unit back on, and you've been descaled. Good idea to make note on the side of when you did it. That way you don't forget. And that's how you descale a Navien tankless water heater.